hear me this week? Last week was pretty crazy and you guys couldn't all hear me. 1, excellent. Somebody can hear me. That's wonderful. Let me get my notes up real quick. Okay, so you can hear me over on Periscope. There's not a lot of you yet on Facebook. So I just wanted to say hello and good evening. Welcome to this week's Essential Oil class. Good, getting some thumbs up over on Periscope. That's good to know. Good, Roxanne says hello. Charlotte says hello. Excellent. So I'm glad you guys can hear me. That's great. So each week we join together on Sunday evenings at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time to present you a class on essential oils. Hello from Canada. I go over therapeutic properties, benefits, safety, and lots of recipes to teach you how to use essential oils safely. And this week, our topic is Bergamot Essential Oil. So we are live on Google Hangouts and on YouTube, Periscope, as well as on the event page for our Facebook group, Using Essential Oils Safely. And I see there's several of you on each. Those of you on Facebook and Periscope won't have the best visuals, but I will do my best to help present those to you. You guys right now over on Facebook and Periscope, you are on my iPod and my iPhone, and you're staring at my screen that I can see of myself over on Google Hangouts. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a screen share like I usually do. I'm using a little bit different program for the screen share, so I'm able to actually zoom in a bit, which is going to be really great for you guys, especially in Facebook and Periscope, because you were not able to very well see me. And I know you guys that are not on Google Hangouts or YouTube right now, you are seeing my name and the URL a little bit backwards, but that's just because what I see as admin, I see it backwards, but that's okay, just ignore that. If those of you on Facebook and Periscope have a second device, if you want to go over to usingeossafely.com/bergamoteo, I have my post already up there for you, and you can follow along with us if you would like to. You can comment directly on all platforms except for YouTube, and you can access all platforms except for Google Hangouts from your mobile device. So now would be a great time for you to share the live classes with your friends, no matter which format you are using. I will be presenting this live class, and Daphne will be helping answer comments on Periscope, and Christy is going to be helping you guys out on Facebook. If you are watching live or viewing the replay before tomorrow, I will be presenting this class again on the Facebook group event page and on Periscope Monday at noon. After the slideshow presentation, I will be answering your questions. If you are watching this on Google Hangouts, you can click the square grid on the upper right-hand corner of the Google Hangout screen and then select Q&A and submit your question that way. And if you are on YouTube, you will need to click the text link that will bring you to the similar grid and page. Please note that I will not be answering questions during the class. I will be doing the presentation first, and then I will be doing the Q&A. And this class is about Bergamot Essential Oil. If you miss a live class, a recording will be available on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe while you're there so you do not miss each weekly class. So let's get started. I am Leah Harris, certified clinical aromatherapist and founder of usingeossafely.com, author of The Truth About Essential Oil Safety, and I have created all of the recipes you will be presented with during this class, and you can find my industry standard setting labels. That is something somebody said about me. I did not put that on myself. On safeeolabels.com. I have been presenting essential oil classes for months now, and you can find previous classes over on freeeoclass.com. These classes are for everybody who uses essential oils or who would like to use essential oils, no matter which brand you use. So I am going to swap over now to screenshot mode, and I will walk you through the Bergamot Essential Oil webinar presentation, and then we will be answering your questions. So here is my screen. Okay, so as I said earlier, I'm going to be zooming in on these so you guys over on Facebook and Periscope can see a little bit better. Whoopsie. Okay, so everything that I'm presenting to you guys this evening will be found on usingeossafely.com/bergamoteo. That's where you can find everything from this class. Now we're going to begin by looking at the botanical names for bergamot essential oil. Bergamot can be either labeled Citrus bergamia or Citrus aurantium, or more specifically, Citrus aurantium subspecies Bergamia. So no matter which one that you see on your bottle, they're all going to point to the same bergamot that we will be discussing during this class. So there is no distinction on safety between the two. And here is a little bit of a rundown of some of the constituents for Bergamot Essential Oil right here. Now you can see that there's a little bit of difference between the bergaptan-free and just the regular bergamot. There's a little bit of variation in the limonene, not too much. The linalyl acetate, there actually is a more significant difference. The linalool, not too much. The terpenine is about the same. And then of course the bergaptan in the bergaptan-free is very, 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 very low trace amount, to the point where it's considered bergaptan-free. And the bergaptan-free one is the one that is, can somebody tell me? Can somebody tell me what the bergaptan-free one is good for before I tell you? Anybody know? It's bergaptan-free means it is not phototoxic. So that is the one that we want to look for, and we will go into that a little bit more later. So here are the therapeutic properties for Bergamot Essential Oil. As you can see, there's quite a few. It ranges from having antibacterial therapeutic properties to being anti-infectious. Yes, great for the skin. Calming, carminative, antiviral. It's a nervine, sedative, vermifuge. There's a lot of great therapeutic properties for Bergamot Essential Oil. And I will be giving you some recipes for these issues shortly. But next, we are going to look at the benefits. But actually, I want to backtrack slightly, because normally I will let you guys know that essential oils, or just remind you basically that essential oil is not just one ingredient. It's often made up of dozens, sometimes hundreds of constituents, some of which we went through just a moment ago. Just like a cake is not a cake, it is eggs and flour and sugar and all other ingredients. It's the sum of these constituents that make an essential oil that gives us those therapeutic properties, and then from there we can attribute benefits, as just like the ones you see here. It can be useful for acne, eczema, indigestion, digestive issues like gas and bloating, even chickenpox and shingles, scars, colds, flu, insomnia, congestion, anxiety. Has a wide range of benefits, some of which are shown here. Now here is the safety for Bergamot Essential Oil. As you can see, it is safe for pregnant and breastfeeding moms. It's safe for children, safe for dogs, not safe for cats. I do not have any essential oils that I will say, yes, this is safe for cats. I personally don't think that it's worth the risk to use around your cats. And if you would like to know more about that, you can go to using eossafely.com/safecats. And then you can decide for yourself if you like my explanation and you don't want to use them. If you want to go ahead anyway, that's totally up to you. But bergamot is phototoxic. That is a concern with Bergamot Essential Oil. It's safe for everybody, but it is phototoxic when used topically on the skin if it is not properly diluted. So most bergamots that you are going to purchase are going to need to be diluted to 0.4%. Now you can purchase bergaptan-free bergamot. It might be referred to as FCF bergamot or even rectified. Does not have a topical max, but as always, we want to still dilute essential oils. The shelf life for bergamot is approximately 3 years. If you do leave it in the heat or in direct light, you may get less of a shelf life. If you keep it in your refrigerator or at least in a cool, dark place, then you may get a little bit longer of a shelf life. It also depends on how often you're opening your bottle and other things. If you're interested to know more about shelf life, you can go to using eossafely.com/shelf life, and it will tell you more there about shelf life of essential oils. Our next slide is just a little bit of a preview I know this is being cut off just a little bit, but I can't actually back out. This is such a giant image. This is just a preview of the labels that I have created on safeeolabels.com. This is the one I have for bergamot, and it just briefly tells you what that previous image says about who it's safe for, topical max, the shelf life, and what can happen if you use more than the topical max, and that is discussing phototoxicity. And of course, if you have bergaptan-free bergamot, you can totally ignore the topical max line and the phototoxicity line, but the rest apply. So here is our giveaway, and this is actually not in the right order, so apologize for that. But that's okay, we can go ahead and talk about this now. If you do go to using eossafely.com/bergamoteo, you can enter to win. There will be 3 winners. One winner will receive this free sheet of essential oil labels. This is set A, which means there's more to come. 2 winners will receive a 50% off coupon. Now, Amber says, these are awesome. No more trying to research every time. You can put the info right on the bottle. Thank you, Amber. Okay, so please note, and again, I know I said this already, but I'm going to say it again. Bergamot essential oil is phototoxic if not diluted to 0.4%. Now, although this seems like quite a restriction, it is only when used topically. There is no phototoxic issue if inhaled or diffused. The alternative for topical use is to use bergaptan-free or furanocoumarin-free or rectified bergamot essential oil. I personally use the Florahana by Tropical Traditions, which you can get to if you type in using eossafely.com/TTEOS, and that will bring you right to their essential oils page. And of course, bergamot is one of the very first ones listed. So here is my first recipe. This is a recipe for blood clots. Now, I do have all of my recipes broken down into age groups when topically used. All of my recipes are assuming you're using bergaptan-free bergamot that is not phototoxic. So for adults, I recommend a 5% dilution for blood clots, and you can mix that together with a 1 ounce carrier oil, and you can apply topically as needed. And I do have, of course, lesser dilutions for the younger children. My next recipe is a digestive recipe. This is for upset stomach, gas, bloating, any of those types of issues. And my first recommendation is to try an inhaler if it's not super intense. Adding 15 drops or even 10 for children to a personal inhaler. You can use as needed. Alternately, you can add some drops to your aroma diffuser, and how many really depends on the type of diffuser you have, how close it is, if it's an open area, closed area. So it's about 5 to 10 drops. Let it run for about 30 to 60 minutes on, 30 to 60 minutes off as needed. And I do have a recipe for you to apply topically. You want to apply on the abdomen or whichever particular area is giving you the discomfort. And I do have different dilutions depending on the age of the person using bergamot for digestive issues. Next, I have a recipe for colds and flu, and this is best used inhaled or diffused. And that's, again, 15 drops to a personal inhaler. You can use 10 for children, 5 to 10 drops in your aroma diffuser. You can run for 30 to 60 minutes on and off as needed. The next recipe I have is for anxiety, stress, depression, irritability, tension, any of these types of issues. And inhalation really is the best for this. And I do have a note here that you can add a drop to your aroma pendant. If you are wearing one, 1 drop usually does the trick. If you do use 2 or 3 drops, it could be a little bit intense and you may need to take off your pendant. If you have an aroma bracelet, you can add probably 2 or 3 drops is okay in your bracelet. It's not very, very close to your face, but you can play around with that and see what works for you. My next recipe is for insomnia. You can use a personal inhaler for insomnia, or even better, I love using a linen spray. So you can add 5 drops of bergamot per ounce of either water, hydrosol, or vodka. My personal favorite is to add it to hydrosols such as lavender or sandalwood or ylang ylang, you know, whichever kind of calming type of hydrosols that you can use. But again, hydrosols don't mix with essential oils. They are mostly water-based, so you definitely want to shake well before misting over your bedding, your pillow, stuffed animal, whatever it is that you need to use it on to help you sleep better. Now, this is a recipe for congestion issues such as bronchitis, pneumonia, whooping cough, and this is using a steam inhalation. Now, this is generally recommended for adults. It can be pretty intense for children, but you can use a similar thing by adding 1 drop instead of 2 to a steaming cup of hot water. But for adults, you want to add 2 drops of bergamot essential oil to a bowl of steaming water. Place your head over the bowl, close your eyes, put a towel draped over your head, and that will trap the steam in. And you want to inhale deeply for a few minutes or until that steam kind of dies down and it's not so hot anymore. And that can be really great for opening up the sinuses and helping to breathe and really get into those lungs as well and clearing things up. And again, for a child, it's a similar thing, but you want to use a cup instead, and you don't really want to put a towel over their head. They're probably not going to like that too much. Another method you could use is adding the bergamot essential oil to your diffuser, your cool mist diffuser, and they can, you know, they're usually more apt to want to put their face near the cool mist steam than a hot steam, and that can also work. My next recipe, the following recipes are actually all for skin, and this first one is for acne. So you can use 6 drops of bergamot essential oil per ounce of either a facial cleanser, moisturizer, lotion, or liquid foundation, whichever that you typically apply, and you can just put that on as you normally would. Now, alternately, if you just have a small problem area, you can add a drop per teaspoon of witch hazel or aloe vera and just dab on the problem spots as needed. Now, this is assuming your acne is on your face, which is why there's a 1% dilution. You can definitely go up to 2%. If it's elsewhere, we like to stick to 1% for the face. My next recipe is for body odor. Here we go, zoom. You can add a drop of bergamot per teaspoon of soap. Again, this is assuming you're using bergaptan-free bergamot. Otherwise, you're going to be over that 0.4% and you may be risking phototoxicity, but you may add a drop of bergamot per teaspoon of soap and apply topically, then wash off as needed. However, I'm realizing this is being washed off, so you actually could use regular bergamot for this because you are applying it and washing it off. Theoretically, there's not going to be any left on the skin, so you will not have any risk of phototoxicity, but just to be safe, I threw it up here as bergaptan-free bergamot. My next recipe is for burns and wounds. Now, this is using 12 drops of bergamot combined with a ½ ounce of jojoba oil and a ½ ounce of aloe vera gel. And if you combine this in a 1 ounce squeeze bottle with a lotion cap top, you can shake it well and store it in the refrigerator. So if you have a burn, like you're frying something on the stove or you burn yourself, you can quickly grab your already made burns and wounds mixture. Now, my personal favorite is to use helichrysum. Bergamot also works, but if you'd like to combine helichrysum in this blend, feel free to do so. When I make these recipes, I try to stick to just the one essential oil and not have you feel like you need to buy a whole bunch of different essential oils for each recipe. For small wounds and burns, you can dip a Q-tip in the bottle, dab it on the problem spot. For larger, more painful issues, you can drizzle the mixture over the problem area, which is why I like the lotion cap top for this. Okay, so eczema and psoriasis. I have different dilution ratios depending on the age of whoever's using it, but you can add the following drops of bergamot per ounce of carrier oil or aloe vera gel. Now, there's different types of eczema, there's different types of psoriasis, and depending on the type, you may need to either use a carrier oil where you're trapping in that moisture, where you're trying to moisturize that skin because it's dry, or if it's a more fungal issue, then you may need to use aloe vera so it can breathe. So I assume you are doing your research, and this is just a little hint for you if you're dealing with this issue, that it can be helpful for you with this, but definitely, you know, talk about this with your doctor, do your own research to see which one will be best for you. The next recipe is for itching, irritation, and rashes. And this is using bergamot along with aloe vera gel or witch hazel. And if you are using witch hazel, I see I have the asterisk there, but I do not have the little note, so I need to make myself a note so I can add that to the witch hazel. Basically, all it tells you, if you do use witch hazel, that you need to shake well before applying, because essential oils do not mix with witch hazel, but they do mix with aloe vera gel. You can apply topically to problem areas as needed. The next recipe, and I believe this is the last one, is for scars. You can use Bergamot Essential Oil for scars by adding, you know, depending if we're talking a child or an adult, if this is an old scar, new scar, this is why I have a variant for adults. I have between 4 and 10%. If it's a new scar, you probably don't need more than 4%. If it's an old scar, you may need up to 10%. And again, this is bergaptan-free bergamot. Add it to a 10 ml roller bottle, fill to the neck with a carrier oil, and roll over problem areas as needed. So I think this is my last recipe. It is, however, I think there was also something else I wanted to show you, so give me 1 second. Now, as a reminder, I do want you guys to know that I do have this giveaway. This is when I'm supposed to tell you about the giveaway. So if you missed the very beginning, when I had this as one of the very first ones, you can enter to win the giveaway for the Safe EO labels at using eossafely.com/bergamoteo. And if you have been loving these classes, as a reminder, are free. If you'd like to send me some PayPal to show me some PayPal love, that would be much appreciated. I really love seeing every week. There's some of you that faithfully every week send $5. Some of you send $20, and that really makes me happy. I really appreciate that so much when I see that. So I believe that is all we have for class this evening. So I'm going to swap it over to me. Hello, good evening. So if you have any questions, now would be a great time. I'm going to click on Q&A over here on Google Hangouts, and I'm not seeing any questions over here. So if there's anybody on Periscope, I can see the screen really easily for Periscope. If you have any questions, please let me know and I can answer your questions. I know Daphne's over there as well, and she's been answering questions for you while I've done the class. If there's anybody on Facebook that has any questions about the class, I would really like to hear any questions you might have. I can answer those now for you. So there was a question about if you only have the regular bergamot. You just have to calculate, you just have to do the calculation. So it's 0.4%. So what you would need to do to get up to a 2 or 3% is add different essential oils to help bump that up for you. So if you're looking for scars, then you may want to use helichrysum or lavender to help bump that up to something that you can use. Thank you, Eva. I appreciate that so much. Your comment very clearly presented program tonight on bergamot. Thank you. I think I'm getting this down pat. I really like using the way that I did it tonight on the images, where I was able to zoom in. I actually didn't do a PowerPoint, but I just basically accessed my folder, and it was the Windows photo viewer, and I just scrolled through. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but it was pretty easy. So that was nice. So does anybody have any questions? I was thinking while I was on here that I would go ahead and pick the winner for last week's giveaway. And that was for my book, using The Truth About Essential Oil Safety. And I'm just typing in, this was at our Focus Essential Oil class. Oh, as a reminder, we are voting on the next class. So our next class is going to be a blend. The one right now that's winning, but only by a little bit, is a blend for inflammation. There's also, I think the next one is for tension. So if you go on the link, if you go to usingeossafely.com/bergamotEO, you can see in that page, I do have a link directly for you so that you can cast your vote on our next class. Will essential oils freeze? They won't freeze. You can put them in the freezer. It will not harm them. I'm sorry. You can freeze them. It doesn't harm them. If that is something you want to do to help them to last longer, then that is excellent. It doesn't hurt them at all. Some essential oils can kind of crystallize. I know particularly the peppermint has a menthol in it that can crystallize. Even if it's refrigerated, sometimes it can crystallize. The more base note essential oils, like from resins, like vetiver and sandalwood, any of the thicker ones, you see even sometimes frankincense, they're going to be really hard to get out of the bottle, as are most of the other ones, but even refrigerating them, I tend to leave those out. And thankfully, they do have a very long shelf life anyways. So by the time I get through my 5 ml or even my 15 ml bottle, it's probably not going to be quite 8 years. So they're going to last quite a while anyways. So let me go over to Rafflecopter, and I'm going to pick the winner live for you for my book. You guys can see that. So this is The Truth About Essential Oil Safety. Will phototoxicity be an issue if covered by clothing? Theoretically, no. If it's covered, it shouldn't. However, t-shirts or some other shirts can be rather thin, and people have gotten sunburns through a t-shirt. So, you know, if you're applying it like under jeans or a sweater, or, I mean, I guess even some cotton shirts, you may be okay. So, you know, that's something you have to judge for yourself, if that's something that you want to do or not. Oh, thank you. Happy belated birthday, and thank you for the birthday codes. You are welcome. A lot of you guys took advantage of that 37% off. I was floored and so glad it was automated. A lot of you guys got some awesome labels and books. So let me pick the winner for my book from last week. Okay, so Tiffany Morris is the winner. I just went right over to Rafflecopter and click, and they use random.org. So all I have to do is click, and they automatically pick a random person. So Tiffany Morris, if you are on this class tonight, congratulations. Please email me at leaharris@gmail.com. Otherwise, after class, I will be emailing you and sending you my book. So congratulations to Tiffany. Okay, so I'm just reading comments over on Facebook. Yes, I am disappointed that some essential oil companies do not properly label their bergamot. Some of them are bergaptan free and they don't say so. And then, you know, some of them are phototoxic and they don't say so. But if you find out, you can use, either way, you can use the labels I made. This is the one for bergamot. This is kind of washed out. Don't get washed out, work. So here's the one for bergamot. Let's see if I do this. Okay, that's a little bit better. So you can see I have right here on the label, and these are labels you can use on any essential oil bottles, and it tells you if they are safe to inhale or use topically. Sorry guys. For what age or pregnancy, breastfeeding, cat, dog, tells you all of that. And then right here, it gives you the botanical names, and it tells you the safety issues, basically about phototoxicity, and that it can cause, there we go, that's a little bit better, that it can cause blistering. So these labels you can find at safeeolabel.com, and this happens to be wrapped. I'm sure you guys know what brand this is, and I wrapped it right over, but this is the bergaptan free one that I have. And I do have a link to the Flora Hanna bergaptan free essential oil that I use right on the Facebook page, Bergamot EO. So just so you guys know, there's still the Aroma Head webinar going on, and you can get to that here. I don't know what that is. Oh, Witch Hazel. Right, that was my note from tonight. So you can go to usingeossafely.com/ACP webinar, and you can still sign up for the class. Okay, there it is. And that is a free webinar on aromatherapy certification. So if you're interested in being certified, it is backwards for you.
No.
Well, then I'll just do this. Nope, it's not working. There it is. So you guys in Google Hangouts are like, what the heck is going on? I don't even know what that phone number is. So here you go. ACP webinar. There you go. There you go on Facebook. There you go. Oh, okay. So we have Pure Natural over on Google Hangouts saying she's really enjoying the availability of the slides and video after the class. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, all of these are recorded. You have all the slides over on usingeossafely.com/bergamot.eo. Are there any other questions? Any other questions tonight? Yes, thank you for the link, Daphne. Appreciate that. You don't see a link to enter on Facebook. To enter on Facebook, I'm not sure what you mean. You don't see a link to enter on Facebook. To enter one on Facebook. I'm not sure what you mean, Katie. If you could let me know. All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions, so I will wrap this up. You guys know where to find me. You can go to usingeossafely.com and you can find everything on my sidebar. If you are the contest, yes, it's usingeossafely.com/bergamot.eo, and I will be posting it in the group. I'm just doing this class first. Thank you, Christy. Yes. You have to scroll all the way down. I have the whole entire class that I laid out for you guys tonight. And then at the bottom is the link to the Rafflecopter where you can enter to win. So there'll be 3 winners. So that's pretty good. Really good chance. So you guys know where to find me. Now, for you guys over on Periscope and anywhere else, if you're watching the replay anywhere else, catch.me is no longer saving Periscope videos. Sometimes it doesn't save to my phone, so I'm going to do my best to see if it saves to my phone, and if so, I will upload the Periscope to YouTube. However, it's basically the same thing that's already on YouTube via the Google Hangout, so I don't really know if I'm going to bother with that or not, since it's already going to be there. So you are welcome. To enter the giveaway, you have to use the Rafflecopter widget. So you have to, there's one to unlock all of the other entries. Just sign up for my newsletter. And then you can leave a comment telling me how you like to use Bergamot Essential Oil. Then there's other ways that you can enter to get more entries. You can follow me on Pinterest, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, share on Facebook, share on Twitter. There's different entries that you can do as much or as little as you want to do. And so if you're using your phone, the Rafflecopter may not work as well for you, but you can use a laptop and it should work just fine. So I appreciate it, guys, tonight. I thank you so much for coming on to the class on all different platforms. I appreciate that. It looks like there were more people on Facebook tonight, although I was really pleased at how many were actually on Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts has not been that popular the last few weeks, so I'm really surprised. And there's not as many of you on Periscope tonight either. But there are the replays, so I will see you guys tomorrow on Facebook. Oh, this is, okay, before you guys leave, I just wanted to tell you, this is tonight only, and I'm not publishing this anywhere. I'm not sending out any newsletters. You can use the code LIVECLASS, no space, LIVECLASS, and that will give you 25% off either the labels or the book or both. And you're only hearing it from me right now. And this is only good until midnight. So if you're watching the replay, hopefully you're watching it before the coupon code expires. Actually, it's right. It's the first 25 of you. I changed it because there was a little bit of issues on ending it on a certain day. Some of you guys are saying, it wasn't midnight yet, and it was the 17th, and I was trying and it didn't work. And I had it even set to the 18th. So I don't think that was really working. So Lynn, you had trouble getting on Google Hangout. I'm sorry to hear that. So one more time, the code for 25% off, and this is for the first 25 people, is LIVECLASS, no space. So you can go to safeeolabels.com, and that will redirect you to the page on using eossafely.com to the labels, or you can go to the truth about EO safety, and that will redirect you to the page where you can see my book. And that's 25% off with the code LIVECLASS for the first 25 of you who use the code. So ready, set, go. All right, so I will see you guys on Facebook and Periscope tomorrow, Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you all have a good evening, and thank you so much for joining the class. Okay. Where's the button? Good night.